Yep. Okay, read some minutes.
Minutes from the regular meeting of July 3rd and the public hearing of July 3rd as well.
Okay, I had a chance to review them earlier. Any comments or? This would be on the, let's do the public hearing first. I think that was first in order. Correct?
I found them enjoyable, even
Well, I'll make a motion that we approve that.
I'll second that.
John?
Yes.
EJ?
Yes. And then we got the regular meeting. I thought shortened to the point. I'll make a motion to approve those.
Second.
John?
Yes.
EJ?
Yes. Okay, we have a couple of guests tonight. We're going to start with Catherine Blazek.
So I did my Gold Award project. I put rain barrels in at each of the cemeteries in Auburn. There's one located in the corner of this building and one in Shady Side Cemetery. For the township, I have pictures of the project.
Oh, thank you.
There you go.
I think you did a fine job there, Kathy.
Thank you. And this one as well.
Or Katie, or however you want me to address you.
And then also for my Gold Award project, the Girl Scout Board asked me to create rain barrel guides. And so I printed out several copies and I'm giving them to different areas of the township. So you guys will have those as well.
Oh my gosh.
The one thing I still need for my project, I'm having my closing interview with the Girl Scout Board this Thursday. They asked for a name of someone specifically in the township to give about who will just ensure that the barrels will be maintained.
Well, I think you can say the Board of Trustees, and that's a changing entity, but we'll task the service department to keep an eye on there when they're up there doing routine maintenance. They'll just include that.
Right. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you.
This is, well, you really did a nice job.
Thank you.
That looks really nice.
You really did a nice job.
I plan on giving booklets to this Kenston School District and hopefully maybe to the library as well.
Well, you should be very happy with that, yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Dave Dillon is from First Energy.
We had gotten some information from Dave and about looking at the cost savings of going to LED street lighting. And so about 2 weeks ago, I asked Dave if he would come. We had talked about it a little bit briefly at a meeting, and I said, well, can we just go over this thing and find out what's the hidden agendas and costs, and it turned out there were none. But we did go over what it would cost for our township to change and go into LED lighting. There's a couple of advantages right off the bat with LED lighting. One is the lifetime of bulb. You're going to get, now we don't buy the bulbs, but Nancy's constantly going, hey, the bulb over here, the bulb over there, the bulb over here is out. And so they last about 2.5 to 3.5 years.
Times longer. Oh, the normal bulbs are.
The normal bulb.
All right, around 3.5 years. Right.
And now I don't know that we have hard data on LEDs, on these LEDs.
General Electric is saying 11 years.
They're saying 11 years. So, I mean, there's a big plus right there. The other thing that you're going to get, and I encourage you to go up to Chardon Square,
Right.
and you'll
That's the picture on here.
That's this picture. And you'll notice that the lighting is on the road and not so much on the grass. And that's what you get with the LED bulb. It's going to be a much more concentrated direct light. And we haven't had any recent comments, but we did have years ago, we've gone through, we put shields on a lot of
Cutoffs, I think they're
Right, right. And you'll remember those fine folks who brought those to our attention. So basically, what this does is if you have a conversion factor, you got to go in and replace, I think it's 55 lights. And the light fixture is the same whether it's going to be for 100, 170, any one of those, same fixture. But so there's a cost of $301, initial upfront cost to change to these.
To change the bulb.
Change the head.
To change the head on the
Right.
pole, so it'll be a LED head.
Per head.
Correct.
Per head, right. So if you take that,
I think it's on your one spreadsheet.
yeah, it's on
Yeah.
this spreadsheet.
I don't know if you're looking at this one. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
think I
No,
no, that's a
This
different
one, it should be in your packet right there.
Yeah. I think it's at the back. There you go.
So if you look at this thing, you're going to save, right now, we're going to save just under $210 a month in electricity at today's cost. And then you're going to pay $301 a fixture. And so if you run those back, you'll see that we can, after 6.57 years, we don't know any more on fixtures, and it's just 100% savings on electricity.
Is this relevant anymore?
That's your current billing as of December. I think last year I ran that for Nancy. She just wanted to see what the mix was.
Oh, okay.
That's what you have. That's your
This
current,
is nothing
No, that's
proposal
just-
whatsoever?
No.
Okay.
other than just the data
Well,
point.
your electricity changes from month to month.
Their riders are what affects the variability of rates. Things like line extension policy, universal service, low-income funding, kind of thing. Just a lot of those social costs you build into the rates.
And it's highly unlikely they go down.
No, they don't, right. Although fuel costs, and we talked about this before,
Right.
wholesale fuel costs have gone down. So
Yes.
the actual electrons that you purchase have gone down because there's a lot of wholesale electricity. The lights, like I said, Chardon is the one that is the most visible example I know. There are other communities. Hudson is a municipal utility. They have, I think they're in the process of going 100% conversion to LED. They're using Cooper lighting, a little different manufacturer than GE. So if you had a reason to go that way, I've driven through Hudson recently, and you can tell. Cuyahoga Falls, if you drive down Route 8, you'll see them.
You're starting to see a lot of the interstates. I made the trip back from Michigan, and you get around Lansing, and all of a sudden you can see that the heads are different and the lights are much more direct onto the freeway. And so I imagine there's going to be many people making this conversion. In our case, we would save a substantial amount of money.
Yeah, with an initial investment. Fred, where are we at on something like that?
I'd have to look and see. We would be pulling that. I think that comes out of general. 1,000. Now, I don't want to try to throw together a number right this second, but I mean, it's doable. We may want to talk about whether we want to do it all at once, or maybe do it over a couple of years. But I can pull together the numbers on that for sure, and we can talk about it in more concrete terms.
Yeah. And, you know, and it's a safety thing, and it's a, you know, somewhat of a cost of recoup thing too. But I want to go back to, and we're going to get to Jim Dixon again too, with the Adam Hall work. And the second driveway is now extra project, it's outside the project now. Okay, where are we at on that? Because, you know, I think I'd like to tighten some belt buckles here a little bit. And that, I think, is priority.
What's that?
The outside the project costs of the second driveway.
Oh, that affect these streetlights.
Well, it doesn't, but it all comes out of the same pot of money.
Okay.
So, before I commit to this, I think I'd like to.
Well, I'm not asking you to commit it. I think we wait till Mike comes back and then we'll commit to it if we want to commit to it. But, I mean, it's a clear cost savings, it's a substantial cost savings. And it's one of those things that, they do have a substantial lead time to get these done. So the time when you'd want these would be in the winter time.
So every one of these would be identical.
No, there's different
I'm just
voltages.
wondering.
There's
The shape is,
different-
but it's the amount of arrays that are in the head.
It's-
Right.
You can, if you go down through the list, we have, you know, 260, 130, 50, 90s, 50s.
Oh, those streetlights went up over a period of, what, 40 years probably?
Oh, yeah, at least.
Yeah.
Right. Now, when you look at, when you do go to Chardon, those are all the same. They were 250 watt high pressure sodiums, and they went with the 130 watt LEDs. And from the feedback I got from the village or the city, they're very happy with the decision, and they intend to do more at some point.
Yeah, we had, I think, an original lighting district right here. Maybe there was one down on 44 as well that had a special assessment. So there's a long history of, you know, us making adjustments through this over the years. And then we put up, we tried to catch all the collector streets, you know, Stafford and Auburn, Taylor May and one, you know, intersections like that. And for a while there, when there was no cost for installation, we were putting them up at cul-de-sacs and bigger roads, and then there was a program change where there was quite a cost of installation.
For new ones, right?
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, maybe 10 years ago.
Probably,
Yeah.
right. Rate case, right, 2009.
So it's been a lot slower since then. Yeah.
Okay, well, we'll wait for you guys to do your homework. Any other questions for Dave?
I believe so.
Like I said, I encourage you to, if you have, this public meeting, I did the same presentation at Middlefield on Thursday night.
For the village.
For the village of Middlefield, and I said, go up to Chardon and have dinner, and Mayor Garley corrected me, he said, no, have dinner, then go up to the Chardon. Have dinner in Middlefield, so.
That's number one.
Well, you have to look at it, when you can save that kind of money on your energy, I think it's wise.
I will just say this, a lot of the communities now, the trustees are all having conversations with each other, the townships, and I'm getting,
Yeah.
my phone's ringing,
Sure.
right?
Yeah.
And they're all have the same concerns and the desires to save money, so.
Okay,
Thank you.
You're welcome.
thanks for coming in,
Okay, no
Dave.
problem.
All right, Chief Phillips is here for representing the Volunteer Fire Company.
The 4th of July Bicentennial Parade picnic was a huge success, in my opinion. They set up for 200 chairs in the fire department, and At one point, they were pretty full, and we had a lot of people standing. So I think we had a good turnout, everything went smooth, and great weather. So it was a very nice parade.
Don't mention the elephant in the room, though, because that was kind of unique.
That was last minute.
Yeah, I heard.
That was pretty nice, actually. There was a pretty good crowd out there with the elephant,
It
with kids
was.
and everything.
It was. I think people stayed longer this year than they have in the past. It was really nice. It was, yeah, that was a great event.
That just happened to work out. We're hoping that we can get them back next year, maybe. But that went very well. And that's it for my report.
Well, thanks for providing building and hospitality for that afternoon. And we did a little bicentennial thing in the corner there, coming off the fireworks show 2 days before, and that was successful there as well. There was a lot of people milling around, and I think they stayed maybe an extra hour longer than they have in the past, and it just seemed more like an event this year, and thank you for giving us the facility for that. So,
I think the birthday cake was a big hit.
Yeah.
birthday.
Yeah.
Well,
nice
the
to-
duck wagon.
Nice to see a lot of citizens came out for at least 6 work sessions to build that thing.
And you know what, I drove by the, not to denigrate our neighbors, but I did drive by the Newberry birthday cake, and I just think ours is head and shoulders above. Not to brag too much, but I just think ours is really, really good.
I have to thank a lot of people, and including Nancy, for that. Sometimes, you wondered if people would come out for those work sessions, but they did, so.
I got tons of compliments from people on that birthday cake and everything about the 4th of July.
It was impressive. You see the first 2 floats were an elephant and a 25-foot tall cake, or whatever that was. We ticked the 200 going in the shop over there.
Yeah,
Times going in and out, so.
That's 15 feet.
I thought that elephant would hold up the parade. I was amazed how fast that elephant.
That elephant was real fast because there was a lot of parade after that. I
Yep.
got off and went back out with my cousins here, and
I guess if you got long legs, you can move when you want
he
to.
moved at a pretty good pace, yeah.
And I talked to the 2 Boy Scouts that did shovel duty behind the elephant, and they were thrilled to do it.
Who wouldn't be? Yep, nice event. Thanks again, Chief.
And thank you, TJ.
All right, trustee reports, John?
Okay, road department, we have 3,000 feet ditched on Taylor May. We've got first day in of doing squeegee patches so we can do our chip seal projects. We had pre-con meetings for all 3 projects last Thursday up with the engineers, so everything's moving on schedule right now. We had to jump up there and get that squeegeeing done though, because we want it done 30 days before we go in and chip. So I think spoke to the contractors, everybody's happy, county guys are happy, so look forward to successful completion of the projects, where we also county's been very helpful in melding our portion of Taylor May with Bainbridge's because they're redoing theirs at the same time, so that worked out pretty good. Adam Hall, we're doing really well. We've got the basic building up under roof, or let's just call it dry, and things are moving along pretty good there. As far as the second driveway goes, that was added on to the project. That wasn't part of the original scope of the project. And when the estimates came in quite heavy for that, we decided we would do it ourselves. So that's where we are with that. And I'm sure you'd be aware of that, keeping real track of it, how we're moving on that project. So that's all I have.
Okay. And there was, I submitted a purchase order for that project based on our discussions and what was decided at the board meeting, 2 board meetings ago, for those supplemental costs at Adam Hall There was a purchase order for approximately 28,000 some dollars. And we came up with some, I was able to shut down some other purchase orders and move some money around, and we were able to come up with the money without any issues on that.
You can go last, you're going one.
Pardon
You
me?
got anything else, sir?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I have all kinds of good stuff. First of all, I have your reports in front of you, your fund summary report, revenue summary report, and appropriation summary report, as well as your payment listing report for warrants 3874 through 3928, totaling $159,621.18. We have the proposed tax budget in front of you, and I'm asking the board to adopt the tax budget that's been circulated and that was reviewed at the public hearing, the last prior to the last regular hearing. So I have resolution 2017-21 to adopt the fiscal year 2018 tax budget. The Board of Trustees of Auburn Township, Geauga County, Ohio met in regular session on July 17, 2017. And I'll read the resolution into the record for the board. Whereas each year the Township Board of Trustees adopts a tax budget pursuant to the Ohio Revised Code to account for the revenue and expenditures of the upcoming fiscal year, and whereas the Township tax budget is required by the Geauga County Budget Commission to set tax rates and allocate local government funds, be it resolved by the Board of Trustees of Auburn Township, Geauga County, Ohio, that having reviewed the proposed 2018 tax budget as prepared by the fiscal officer, and having submitted the same for public hearing on July 3rd, 2017, the Board of Trustees hereby adopts the attached 2018 tax budget, and the tax budget would be attached to the resolution. And we're looking for a motion.
Move to adopt.
Second.
John?
Yes.
PJ?
Yes.
Okay. Yep. Couple more. All right, it's time to pay our property insurance. I need a couple of supplemental appropriations out of fire and road and bridge to pay for our Otarma property and liability insurance. I'll go ahead and read the resolution 2017-20 to the board. Read it into the record. Be it resolved by the Board of Trustees of Auburn Township, Geauga County, Ohio, that the following supplemental appropriations shall be made to pay property and liability insurance premiums. $12,465.29 in the Fire Levy Fund account 2191-120-381, property insurance. $4,751.22 in the Road and Bridge account 2031-330-381, property insurance. And just as a side note, the insurance premiums are about, all in all, for the whole township, $500 more than they were last year. So I'm looking for a motion on that.
So moved.
Second.
John?
Yes.
PJ?
Yes.
Thank you. I have one more. We've got a road levy that is expiring, and we need to submit a certificate of need to the county auditor, who will return the payoff on the road levy, which we then submit to the Board of Elections with our ballot language. So this is Resolution 2017-22, Certificate of Need for renewal of 1 mil road levy originally passed in 2008. Whereas the Auburn Township Board of Trustees has determined that it will be necessary to levy a tax outside of the 10 mil limitation for the purpose of road improvement pursuant to ORC 5705.19G, inclusive, at a rate of 1 mil for 5 years, which levy is a renewal. Be it resolved by the Auburn Township Board of Trustees, after meeting in regular session on the 17th day of July 2017, that pursuant to ORC 5705.03B, said board hereby certifies this resolution to the Geauga County Auditor and requests that the County Auditor certify back to the Auburn Township Board of Trustees the total current tax valuation of the subdivision and the number of mills required to generate a specified amount of revenue, or the dollar amount of revenue that would be generated by a specified number of mills for the purpose of road improvement pursuant to ORC 570519G inclusive at a rate of 1 mil for 5 years, which levy is a renewal to be placed on the ballot November 7, 2017. And looking for a motion.
Let me just think here for a second. We replaced a bunch of them. And was that would have been new in '08?
Yes.
And then by 13, I think the deal was that evaluations hadn't changed hardly at all, so we just renewed it because it was like just a matter of.
And that's still the case.
So that's the one that we never replaced. That'd be the oldest one going right now then. And yeah, that being the case still, since evaluations haven't changed, yeah, I'll make a motion.
Second.
John?
Yes.
PJ?
Yes.
That's all that I got.
Okay, the one thing that I have that's not on the agenda yet is that USGS water survey thing that was highly debated about a year ago. The commissioners then ended up re-entering into a altered contract to keep it in effect. On the 25th, at their evening meeting, the commissioners are going to want to hear from various townships who are, well, we're all affected by it, but they'd like to hear from the townships and their opinions of this again in an effort to, well, they're looking at it again.
They think maybe our zoning, we changed the basis of our zoning, is that what they're thinking?
Well, everybody's zoning is based on water
I know, so they're
availability.
thinking all of us changed the basis of our zoning. I can't even believe they're saying this.
Well, after, I don't know, I think the intention was to shut it down at one point. I think the townships made it clear that we thought maybe it'd be wise to stay in it, so that we stayed in it, and here it is back on the agenda again. Now, what we found out, thanks to that Albertine who did a lot of work here, our one well that's part of that USGS program is actually, ours is going to stay monitored anyway through the federal government. I think that's Homeland Security's doing that now. But that's the only one in the county that will be monitored, and we don't know how available that information is anyway.
In my mind, I'm all for the people in all the townships, not just us. And think that, you know, we went along for 20-some years, everything was fine, and I think we had somebody who was talking without knowing what they were talking about, and then forgot about it. And then when people said, well, what do you mean you canceled the service? And then there was an uproar, and they went, wow. Well, now this is trying to, in my book, it's trying to save some face.
Well, the stated goal from the commissioners was they were going to come up with some alternatives.
And did they?
Well, I guess that's what we're going to find out.
No, they haven't come up with anything else.
I have not heard of one. I have not heard of one.
Absolutely not.
But that is what is up for discussion on the 25th. I think
Just an embarrassment.
as a board, this shouldn't be very difficult to pull out the letters we put together last spring.
Several, right.
Last spring, and make whatever minor alterations are made, and I think we send that. Going down to the bottom of the agenda, that's an evening meeting, the 25th, and that's also the night of our outdoor
Right.
show up here,
Right.
which was...
Probably more important.
Well, yeah, I think it is. But let's get a letter together and possibly think of one of us attending this county commissioners meeting. And just voice our concern, huh?
To serve popcorn on the 25th.
Yeah, I know. And, you know, just voice our concerns that we think it's an important program to maintain. And that's all I have. You got a drawing? Never been the chairman, we had to do a drawing.
This is important.
This is important
some
stuff.
real.
There must be a hat or some kind of dish or something.
Well, it's right there in front of you.
Okay.
Carl's our official.
See, I forgot.
Yeah.
I'm
There's a bunch of them.
remiss. I forgot to thank Mr. Schneider for volunteering his tractor.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
polishing it all up for us. I'm sure it was already polished, but
It's a parade tractor and it looks like one.
and it looks,
So,
Yes.
thank
it
you.
looked darn nice, Carl. Thanks.
Thanks for allowing
Thanks for
me.
doing that.
You're welcome.
Chief pulling out. Mr. David Franick's gonna win a plate. It'll be that one over there in the middle on our window.
All right.
I believe Dave Franick's over on
So Taylor Made.
Taylor Made.
Taylor May. Yeah. Okay, Fred, we've got an occasion coming up here that perhaps we need some clerical help.
Yes. The situation is that at the end of July, Nancy had a vacation scheduled. She scheduled it several months ahead of time. Jane had originally had an operation scheduled for the beginning of July. It got bumped to the end of July. So both Jane and Nancy are going to be out really the first week of August, the last day of July. And we need to have somebody in to help cover the phones. So the idea was floated that we hire somebody for maybe 20 hours that week to come in and help cover the phones. And I believe Jane may have somebody that could come in and help, candidate. And Nancy had somebody in mind, but that person's not available. So Bridie suggested that we make a motion on hiring somebody if we do decide to do that.
I'll make a motion, we hire somebody on a temporary contract basis.
$10 an hour,
At $10 an hour?
that's all right?
Well, I think you're gonna have to negotiate that with whoever. Fred, you're gonna be in and out to kind of supervise, right?
Yeah, I'll be in and out that week.
You're kind of
I'll try to be in as much as I
like
can.
10 to 2 or 9 to 1 or something is what you're thinking, or?
Well, yeah, I would talk to Nancy and Jay and try to find out when the heaviest call times are, but probably 10 to 2, something like that. So, I need a second.
A second.
So we're authorized up to $7 or $10 an hour.
I think that'd be, yes, that's what we do for Adam Hall, perhaps.
John,
Yes.
BJ?
Yes. Okay, as mentioned earlier, we got our outdoor concert. Last year, they used the entrance to Adam Hall as a stage, and people brought their blankets and everything on the lawn. It looked like a mini blossom down there. It was real nice. This year, we're going to do, I think, a bit of an ice cream cake social for bicentennial. Freshmen certainly available, and it was a nice night. It was not something you see in Auburn every day. It was kind of cool last year, and hoping for good weather again this year. Still working towards the party in the park at the end of September, and a township history tour starting at Adam Hall on October 15th. Questions from the public? Anyone? Go ahead.
Thank you. Fred, looking at the warrants, the posted warrants, you did explain about warrant 3920, the Otama bill for, that's the insurance bill, right?
Yes.
For 39,116, yada yada. Okay. You also explained that the premium was $500 more expensive. Did Otama provide a written explanation of that? Why?
No, there was, we have some new equipment, and we have the new road garage. So there's been some increases in value in our inventory and equipment.
Okay, yeah, I wasn't thinking about the
Yeah.
garage. Yeah, okay, thank you.
Okay, anyone else? He's searching for a motion.
Motion of all motions.
I would second that.
John?
Yes.
BJ?
Yes.
John? Yeah.